Hi class, we need to talk about in this set of problems equivalent fractions. And here's the basic idea. When we're looking at equivalent fractions, these are fractions that contain the same area or as the definitions given in here, they have the same value. So for example, you can express out of an integer a half, or the same value of a half can be expressed as 2/4. Same idea, you could have it as sixes, 3/6, or 4/8. In any case, all of those fractions represent half of a circle. But it's just different ways that the partitions are done. Therefore, the fractions are equivalent. They're just different portions that are being done. Okay, let's take a look at the first problem. And on the first problem, they're asking us to see which of the following fractions are equivalent to 2/7. Now, we don't have the sketches here, so what we want to do here is basically reduce the fractions and then see if which one of these are going to give us the 2/7. So for example, 4/14, you can express this as 2 times 7. Whoops, 2 times 2. Sorry, I was looking at the denominator. So 2 times 2 over the values of 2 times 7. And then you can see here that if you cancel this particular one, well, the first fraction actually reduces to 2/7. So we're good on this one. This will be part of our solution. Let's take a look at the second one. The second fraction, you have 6/18. This is equal to 6 times 1 and 6 times 3. So this particular one reduces, but it reduces to technically only 1/3. So I'm not going to box it in. It's not part of our solution. Let's take a look at the third one. And as we look at the third one, this one happens to be, well, let me rewrite it as 10/35. And we can, let me see, we could divide it by 5s. That's the only one that I see, so it'll be 5 times 2. And 5 times 7. And then here, well, you can cancel the 5s, and we do end up with the values of 2/7. So this is going to be another fraction. So far we have 2. And then let me just reduce the third one, 14/28, which happens to be 7 times 2 and 7 times 4. This one reduces as well, but it doesn't reduce to what we're looking for. In this case, this is 2, or technically 2 times 1 over 4, or 2 times 2. It reduces to 1/2, but it's not an answer. So in this case, I'm just going to say that only 4/14 and 10/35 are equivalent to the values of 2/7. So you only have two main fractions that reduce to the 2/7. That's actually it for this problem. Let's move on into the next one. And then on this particular problem, they're asking for 4 fractions equivalent to 1/5. So all you have to do is basically multiply top and bottom by the same value. So for example, I'm going to say that my first fraction, I'm going to use 1/5, and I'm going to multiply times 2 times 2. So this is going to be 2/10. This is going to be our solution, or one of them. And then for number 2, well, I have 1/5, and I'm going to multiply it times 3. Top and bottom times 3. This is supposed to be a 3. So this will be 3/15. Actually, it's already done. That's another fraction. Let's do the third one here. And once again, we have 1/5. And I'm going to multiply top and bottom, well, in this case by 4. So this will be 4 20s. Our fourth fraction, let me just rewrite the 1/5. And I'm going to multiply times 5 and times 5. So 5 over the values of 25. And let me just write my answer as a sentence. 2 over 10 over a comma, 3 15s, 4 over 20, and 5 over the values of 25 are equivalent to the values of 1/5. That's actually it for problem 2. Let's move on to problem 3. Oh, you guys, sorry, that's supposed to be problem 3. I'll fix it on the file. And they want 2 fractions equivalent to 3/8. So what I'm going to do is my first fraction, I'm going to just multiply times 2. So 3 over 8 times 2 times 2. So this will be 6 over 16. My second fraction, let me rewrite the 3/8. And I'm going to multiply times 3. So we're looking at 9 over 24. And in this case, I'm just going to say that, well, 6 over 16 and 9 over 24 are equivalent to the values of 3/8. And let me fix. Let me move on to the last problem, which should be 4. Sorry about that. I'll fix it on the file. They're asking which one is larger. Well, to compare which one is larger, we need equivalent fractions. So in this case, you technically have 4/5, and we're comparing it to 6 over 7. So in order to compare them, we have to find a common denominator. So in this case, it's just easier if you multiply this one times 7, this one times 7, this one times 5, this one times 5. And you're looking at 28 over the values of 35. And then, well, technically 30 over the values of 35. So in this case, once we have an equivalent fraction, and all I did was to find a common multiple that, well, was equivalent to both of these. And in this case, 5 was the easiest one. As you read this one, 28 over 35 is less than 30 over 35. So therefore, as you write it in a sentence, you could say that technically 6/7 is larger than 4/5. Remember that they're not asking about the equivalent, because here your answers could be different if you find a larger multiple. But clearly, if you express them as a fraction with the same denominator, clearly 30 is larger than 28. So 30 came out to be 30 over 35 came out to be the 6 over 7. So 6 over 7 is larger than 4/5. Once again, to compare fractions, they have to have the same denominator. Let's take a look, and this is going to be, let me just make sure that I didn't accidentally. So 1, 2, that's 3. That's 4, and this is supposed to be 5. My apologies again. I'll fix it on the file. Okay, so they want us to find a fraction that has a denominator of 21, and it's equivalent to 6/7. So in this case, this will take one step. You technically have 6/7. To have a 21 at the bottom, you multiply times 3. But you have to multiply times 3 at the top as well. Otherwise, it won't be equivalent. So in this case, 18 over 21 is equivalent to 6/7. So let me just write it as 18 over 21 is equivalent to the values of 6/7, and it contains the denominator of, well, in this case, they want a denominator of 21. That's actually it for this problem and this set of problems with equivalent fractions. That's it.